Hello and welcome to my Home Assistant video this time around. So this one is for the Tado heating system, and it is for if you don't have a bypass radiator or you don't want one. Now this isn't official plumber's advice, but this has worked for me, and it works flawlessly provided that your Home Assistant is working fine. So if you don't have a bypass radiator, then obviously the heat from the boiler will go back into the boiler at full temperature because it's not got anywhere to go. So normally you'd have a radiator in the bathroom or whatever that would be left open all the time. So whenever you turn on your living room, it heats up your living room, but it also pumps heat into the bathroom, which is in my mind a total waste of energy. So the way I do it now, my bypass radiator wasn't in when I bought the house. It's just there's a lot of problems with our house when I bought it, but that's one of the problems. So instead of putting leaving it open, I put a smart valve in it and program it to become a bypass valve, but with less wasted heat. So the way you can do it is on the Tado system. It tells you how much it's heating. So it'll give you a percentage. So say 100% means the valve is fully open, 0% is the valve is fully shut. So we can figure out when the valve is open. Basically it can become a bypass valve. So what you do is you tell it that when one radiator goes below 10% is the trigger. And what happens when that is triggered? What it does, it tests to make sure that the other radiators are below 10. Now if they're below 10, it will open up the bypass radiator that you assign. So it can't call for heat. This is the one thing, it cannot call for heat, this bathroom, this radiator. But what happens is, if one radiator goes below 10 and it confirms that the others are below 10, it will turn on the radiator. So it means all that heat that would be going around the system, not going anywhere, would go into that bypass radiator. And that's how it works for turning the bypass on. To turn the bypass off, it's a little bit simpler. So you have the same thing. So when the heating or the valve, goes above 1%, generally, like when you turn a radiator, it'll go to 100 because it's trying to heat the room. What happens if any of them goes up above 1%? It will basically say, turn off that bypass radiator, and that's you sorted. That's all you need to do. It took a lot of trial and error, even though it seems quite logical. It took a lot of trial and error to get it right. But now, before when all the valves are shut, because sometimes, well, obviously you have 10 minutes or 15 minutes after the boiler shuts off that it's still pumping round the water. And what also happens in the cold is that your boiler will kick in. My boiler is outside because it's an oil one, so it kicks in to try and so the water doesn't freeze in the pipes, so it's got nowhere to go. So when when the boiler is off, when everything is off, it's good to leave that valve open, because if the boiler does kick in to heat the pipes, it's at least heating a room, and it would be heating nothing. So you might as well get free heat out of that room. So that's how it works. It's not approved by a plumber, but it works for me. And if you don't have a bypass, or you want to get rid of it, and you want to just think, yeah, that makes sense, just crack on and do it. It does work. And it works very well, and it feels like free heat, which is, if you're Scottish, is a big deal. Anyway, the next video I'm going to make, if you're interested, if you have the Tado system, is how to calculate your Tado radiators to become it might be gas, but it might be oil like I've got. You can work out how much is being used from there. So I'll make that video, and it'll be on my channel. Excellent. Right, cheers now, bye.